Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. Today is November 23rd, and we are almost at the end of our yearly workshops. Super excited to have you all here, and we are going to get started. I'm going to wait until a couple people get in the room and get settled in. Give me one second. So, Ms. Sage, if you want to go ahead and lead in with our introduction.
I'd like to say welcome to everyone, all of those who are joining us again this month, or those who are coming for the first time. We are here every month doing our virtual learning series, and today our very own Whitney Middlebrooks will be presenting and having some clarity about why we are here, why do we come together, and why do we meet once a month for these virtual learning workshops. Family Self-Sufficiency is a resource, and she is the program coordinator of Family Self-Sufficiency. So I turn it back over to Ms. Whitney Middlebrooks.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you all. Right now we don't have any viewers, so if you want to wait a second just to get at least one person in the room so we could actually talk to them. Just wanted to wish everyone a early happy Thanksgiving, just in case I don't get a chance to speak with you all prior to. Just wanted to say happy Thanksgiving. Thank you all again for being here, and those who have been faithful at attending our virtual workshops. Me and Miss Sage definitely appreciate it. We put a lot of hard work into it, and we're just grateful those that participate. So I have a couple people in the room. If those people could just kind of say hello so I can know who you are and who we're talking to today. And while we wait for people to say hello, I just want to also just reiterate that today's topic is let's talk about it. And what does that mean? We're going to talk about the FSS program, which is the Family Self-Sufficiency Program, which I am the program coordinator of. We haven't got anybody to say anything yet. So, Ms. Sage, if you think we should go ahead.
Sure.
Okay. All righty. Let's see. Hold on. Hello. Had a couple people saying hello. Hello. Betty Tate, thank you for tuning in with us today. Give me one second. All righty. So we are going to jump right into it. Hi, Miss Bethany. Thank you for saying hello. Appreciate you again every month being here and tuning in with us. So I'm just going to jump right into it. The Family Self-Sufficiency Program here at the Lexington Housing Authority. Again, I'm the program coordinator. For those who don't know and maybe have not actually like me yet, COVID kind of threw a little wrench into the to that, but I've been with the Housing Authority since October of last year. So I'm just on a little bit of a year in. I am from High Point. So I'm here local. I have a background in marketing, communications, and community relations. I've done a lot of event planning as well as some program development within the community. So that's who I am. And I just wanted to introduce myself because I know that there's a transparency thing of who is Whitney, who is this girl that want to talk to us every month. It's me. I promise you can trust me. I'm here to help you along the way with anything I can in reference to the Family Self-Sufficiency Program. So, yes, and I have Miss Brandy. Hi, Miss Brandy. Thank you for attending. It's okay if you missed last month. They're always on our Facebook and YouTube. You can always go back and tune in. So we're just going to move right along. So what is FSS? The FSS program is a volunteer program. It is a program that HUD is over. It is a 5-year contract. So once you enroll into it on your own, you are signing up to be in the program for 5 years. And the program is for families that are obviously participating in the Housing Choice Voucher Program, which means that you are a part of the Lexington Housing Authority. And ultimately, here's to help you set achievable goals and the opportunity to earn cash incentives. Okay. So that's pretty much how that works for those who don't know. And I know we have people that are on the live today that are in the Family Self-Sufficiency Program, and they just may or may not know what it is. As I came in the last year, I realized there was a little disconnect, so I had to do a lot of ground groundwork at building that up and figuring out where that disconnect is. Where can I help? And so, if you don't know, this is pretty much the overview of the Family Self-Sufficiency Program. And again, before I continue, just know, ask questions if you have anything, and feel free to stop me if you don't understand something. And again, we will ask a question at the end for someone to win a gift card, as we always do every month. So yeah, make sure you're paying attention. So, all right, so we'll move on from that. So when you think about, well, okay, FSS program, but what does that look like at LHA? Basically, our goal here is to help participants identify any type of barrier that they may be, experiencing that can prevent them from accomplishing their goals. When you think of family self-sufficiency, what does that mean? We want you to be self-sufficient. We want you to be able to take the tools that you've learned and expand beyond the housing authority, beyond assistance. Now, it's not saying that if you join the self-sufficiency program and you graduated, you're off housing. No, no, no. This is just to help you and propel, because we always talk about what happens if housing is taken away. We want to be able to help push you and kind of get you ahead of the game. If you ever need to be off of it, get a job where you're making more money, how do you balance that? And that's pretty much why we're here. And ultimately, we're able to connect you with resources in the community. Okay. So when it comes to what LHA and how we run the FSS program, again, the program is set up to, you have to, there's certain things that we require from you. In order to get something, you got to do something, right? We can't just be chilling on the program. I got to know who you are. There has to be meetings. We need to talk, like, what you got going on. So the first requirement is you got to complete the application. Complete the application. There'll be an orientation that could just be with me and you one-on-one, and maybe a group one. It depends on what we have going on. And agree to understand that you have to seek and maintain employment. As we all know, that can seem like, oh no, well, I don't want my rent to go up. It's okay, because one of the best benefits of it, we'll talk about it in a couple slides later, is that there's incentives actually to work. And if your rent goes up, if you're on the FSS program. So another requirement is that we need you to attend trainings and workshops, as these lovely ladies and gentlemen, they attend every month. This is a requirement now. We're going into 2021, and we're kind of wanting people to know that we want you to be accountable. We want to see your face if you're able to, and just actively participate. So I talked about goals briefly. When it comes to goals, HUD requires 2 goals that you have to maintain. And the first one is to seek and maintain suitable employment. You're like, what is suitable employment? So here at LHA, we define suitable employment as at least 25 hours a week, right? That's pretty much like a part-time. And why do you want to work? Because again, when you work in this program, your rent may go up. And that difference of that goes into a savings account. And we'll talk about that again in a minute. But I just want to put that out there. You do have to continue to seek and maintain employment. We understand that things happen. You may or may not be working, something with the pandemic. We understand that. But throughout 5 years, we want you to continue to push yourself, go to jobs, interviews. If you need some interview training, we can talk about it. I can get you with someone and all that good stuff. And then the next required goal is to be free of cash welfare. So that's TANF. Basically, what that means is that does not include Medicaid, food stamps, or anything like that. That just means that if you are receiving a cash check, some people receive TANF. We just want you to not have that with 12 months prior to graduating. So we'll know that prior to going in. I'll make sure we'll look at that together before you reach that year to graduate. But again, that's just something of required goals. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to stop me. But yeah. So I talked about it briefly, but you're like, what is this escrow savings account? Like, what does that mean? Basically, the escrow account is a savings account. So when in the housing program in general, when your earned income goes up, what happens? Your rent goes up. So when you're in this program, you got a sweet deal, right? So when your rent goes up based on your income, we deposit a percentage of that into your savings account, and it also occurs interest. I just wanted to do this didn't happen here at our housing authority, but I went to a wonderful training earlier this year before COVID hit, and the success stories that some of these cities and states are having was, I mean, amazing. You're having people graduate from FSS programs with $20,000, and they writing a check for you because why? You did everything you said you were going to do. You achieved goals, and you actively participated, and you were able to receive. They were able to receive a check for $20,000, and of course, that's based on their income levels and things like that in certain cities that have like higher income levels. But just know that the possibilities are endless. So don't be fearful about working because this is a bonus for you. Like think about where you could be. You can save and don't even. It's out of sight, out of mind. So that's pretty much how escrow works. And so when you've done all you are supposed to do, what happens? You graduate. So it's 5 years and you have completed all of your goals. You have met with me. We have talked about it. We've made adjustments if need be. We have made different arrangements to get you with different resources and other partner agencies to continue to assist you with whatever your goals are. And so you're going to graduate. We might have, a little gift for you. You never know. But think about in 5 years what that looks like. What did you try to achieve? And what did you do to actually reach those goals? And one thing I want to point out, because unfortunately, when I came in, there were some people on the program that either weren't aware, and they sometimes they don't get their escrow. So why wouldn't I get my escrow? Well, you wouldn't get your escrow if you unfortunately did not complete goals. If you never met with the FSS coordinator, you can have escrow on your account, but at the end, HUD wants to know, did Ms. Johnson do what she said she's going to do? And we're going to sit down and we're going to go through the checklist. And then if you didn't, it's like, that's where that accountability comes in. That's when it comes to talking to me. Whitney, I think I need to make adjustments to some of my goals. I don't think I'm going to get there. It's okay. You don't have to feel uncomfortable about it. We can look at that as long as it makes sense and you're not trying to get out of something, but more so, what can you do? What's another replacement goal that is actually tangible? And I think I have a question from Miss Bethany from YouTube, and she says, "Can you graduate before 5 years?" Yes, you can. You can absolutely graduate before 5 years. And how does that work? Well, it's a couple ways. So you can graduate early based on your income. So let's say your income exceeds whatever the limit is for your unit. Let's say you get a job and you're making $50,000 a year. You automatically just graduate from the housing program in general. So we would graduate you. We would congratulate you because guess what? You have reached family. You have reached self-sufficiency. You don't need us anymore. Like that's amazing. So you can definitely graduate early. And you can also graduate early if for some reason you have well, it depends. So you can also move out of the housing authority to another one. That's not necessarily graduate, it's more so moving. But the main thing is if your income limit exceeds a certain amount, you will graduate. And again, that's ultimately, right, the goal. So that's a good question, Bethany. Thank you for that. So as we graduate, again, there's an evaluation process. Did we do what we were supposed to do? Did we meet? And we have to show paperwork for it. So if you say that one of your goals is to go to school, I need to see that the degree. I need to see at least you enrolled or whatever, how it was written in your contract of how you wanted to go about doing it. I have to see that because we won't write you a check. And in terms of goals, like I said, you got to do something to get something. So if we don't see that, and we just like where you kind of skated through, unfortunately, that would be a way you wouldn't graduate. But ultimately, we're going to work very hard. And as long as you're talking to me and I know what's going on, we'll be good. And I feel like we can always make sure that you do graduate. I'm going to back up real quick. So even if you graduate, there's actually people in the program who actually don't work. And so they don't work because due to disability or some other circumstance of why they cannot work. So if you cannot work, and you remember one of the required goals is you have to seek and maintain employment. If they're not working, we would get a doctor's note from them. And so they graduate from the program. So they didn't earn escrow because why? They don't have any earned income. So They graduate, but they've taken advantage of all the resources. You never know who they've met. Yeah, probably fixed some help with some credit issues or just some other like mentor programs that they've been able to take care of. So don't think that the only thing is the money. Think about what you're gaining, like resource wise, that we're actually able to give you. And I have another question from Miss Bethany. She says, at the end of 5 years, if you haven't met all of your goals, but most, do you receive the escrow check? No, unfortunately, because you have stated that you want to do XYZ, and we are going to do whatever we can do to help you get there. If you have not achieved those goals and you haven't provided reasons as to why, perhaps, that we will consider case by case, you unfortunately will not. So that is just something to think about. And again, it's that accountability thing. Like, dang, let me make sure I'm on top of it. And it's not to micromanage. It's just because, again, volunteer program, you said, hey, Whitney, I want to be in it. And I'm like, come on. But this is what we require. And this is a HUD thing. So we're going to look at it. But so make sure that your goals make sense. Make sure that they are achievable. We don't like to put people in goals that do not make sense, that are not realistic to where they are in life. And it's like one in particular, we do not do home ownership as a final goal. Nope. We can say that you're going to work towards home ownership. And what does that look like? That means maybe attending a home ownership workshop, working with some other agencies to help prepare your credit, things like that. But we don't want to tie you into just buying a home, because buying a home is a huge process. You never know where you might be in that process at the end of 5 years. Good question, Bethany. Thank you for that. Let's see. I have another question from Miss Brandy. She says, is the program only 5 years? How long can you stay in the program? 7 years. So it's only 5 years, but there are circumstances where somebody gets, like, somebody's gonna graduate this year. They like, Whitney, you know what? This pandemic done threw me off. And I need an extension. We absolutely give extensions for reasons that make sense. Have you been working towards your goals? And we notice a pandemic. It could be some circumstantial things to that. So there is an extension. It'll go up to 2 years, but anything after 2 years will be done. So you have an extra 2 years to complete your goals. So that is good. Thank you for asking that, Brandy. Have another question from, I love the questions today. Miss Betty Tate, what are the resources? Okay, we have some great resources. We are rebuilding our resources again. Again, like I said, I'm new into this role, but I've been able to connect with the Business Advisory Council in Davidson County. I am a member of that board, and they have Goodwill. They have the city of Lexington is on that board. We have Salvation Army. I mean, honestly, the list goes on. And those partnering agencies are able to literally provide us with whatever we need. We have our program committee, which is a part of like the board that helps me as well as provide those resources. We have a representative from communities and schools. So anybody with children, we have a resource there. We have a financial representative from a bank. Any type of, help with that, or if you needed a bank account, we won't just give it to you for free, but there's a resource that we can send you, as well as
and the local credit union
everything.
that came.
All of these resources, are local right here in Lexington. And there's also Davidson County Community Action.
And the community college.
CCC, we have them. We also have, I'm just trying to think of like all these resources on top of my head, but definitely Goodwill. And the Goodwill is just full of resources in general. So if you're looking for a job, you're looking for some career training, maybe interview skills, resume, we really have this for you, but you have to be asking that. We're not going to, and again, that's that accountability. You have to come to us and express that. Now, if I see that there's an opportunity where Miss Johnson could grow, I would definitely offer it. But, you will be able to follow up. I will put you in contact with them. We, set appointments if you wanted me there, maybe as a comfort, whatever that may be. Or if you needed some even mental health services that are outside of our realm, absolutely. We can refer
Davidson, Family Services of Davidson.
So just know there's tons of resources, but I always say people got to take advantage of it, because I feel like there's so much great stuff here, and people just like, I don't know. Well, I'm here to tell you it's here and I'm gonna help you get there, So I just want to point that out. But yeah, that's a good question, Ms. Tate. Thank you for asking that. So again, we're gonna graduate, life is gonna be good, right? And guess what's gonna happen? We're gonna write you a check. So as long as you've done everything you said that you were gonna do, right? You met with me, we talked. I know exactly where Miss Johnson is right now in life. She has a job. She is working at least 25 hours a week. She has completed all of her goals. She done went to school. She done did all this stuff, but you can cash out. And what does cash out mean? I mean, you can honestly, HUD actually says you can do whatever you want to do with the money. It's amazing. You can do whatever you want to do with the money. But we hope that within 5 years, you have gained some knowledge in knowing that I got to be mindful about how I spend that money. So if you somehow had a $5,000 check, that's a good little, it's a good little money to play with. But think about it. What do you have some bills maybe you can catch up on? Do you have some debt that would really help you? Because if you want to buy a home, let's pay some of this debt off. But you can do whatever. You can buy a home. You can go shopping. You can take the kids to Disneyland. You can go back to school. You can use that money as some, funds to help you go back to school or send a child to college or just save it. You can do whatever you want to do with it. There is no restrictions that the Housing Authority or HUD will put on you when it comes to the money. But again, we would want to definitely be sure that you're using it wisely and that you're not in the same position that you were 5 years ago, because that's the goal, right? So I talked a little bit about goals. I feel like we got to be goal getters. We got to set goals. Some things can be very short term, some can be long term. My goal every month is to lose weight. I haven't been doing well every month. I say I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna do it. But you know what? I have to start being more accountable in it. So the first thing I feel, and we're going to talk about this actually next month about goals and vision boards and all that. But I think this is a great segue into that of how do you write? How do you prepare for a goal? You got to plan. You got to prepare. You got to really think about it. Think about what the goals are. Don't think about what you want to say that seems right. What makes sense for you and your family? And you have to continuous to work towards it. Don't give up. Life happens. The pandemic happened. I'm a little bit in shambles too about some of the goals that I set, but there's always a way that you can get back up. Take a break. It's 5 years. A lot can happen in 5 years. So get an accountability partner. I'm telling you now, I can be your accountability partner. I'm sure Miss Sage would if you needed to reach out for her. Like, be like, Whitney, I'm struggling. And I'm like, okay, me too. Because everybody's going through something. We all have barriers and things that could stop us that, could be the deciding factor of why I can't do something. But then we have to say, well, let me adjust. If I have to adjust and take a step back and say, I don't think I can do that, come we talk about it. We can make some adjustments and amendments to your goals. And again, we want them to make sense. We don't want you to get out of doing something out of fear, but we want them to make sense for you and your family. And another thing is to celebrate small wins. Like, listen, it's life is real. Every little win, it doesn't matter, is important. If yours is to go to school, if you filled out the FAFSA thing, celebrate that. That's just one step. Check that off. If it was to call one of the advisors, that's another step. Celebrate yourself. Like, I did that. Okay. Next. And don't take it on the whole task. Take it one by one. Every day is, different day. And also give yourself grace because, again, life happens. Nothing is etched in stone of a time frame for no one. But in terms of this program, it is 5 years. You have an opportunity to do 7. We really want you to be good in 5. But just know that a lot can happen in 5 to 7 years. And I feel like anything you set, you can reach with your own hard work. So that is pretty much what I have. And I have a quick video I just wanted to share when it comes to goals and it comes to life. I think oftentimes, specifically with the pandemic, people feel that everything is the end of the world. My situation is too big. I can't get out of it. We have to change our thoughts. We have to change our patterns. And even if environmental things are not showing that, it's okay. Remember to constantly feed yourself positivity. Who you hanging around? What your friends saying? What your family saying? Make sure that you're aligning yourself with people that represent what your future, what you want it to be. You don't have to be what your parents were. You don't have to be what your sister or brother is. We are literally living our own lives. And you don't need to put yourself in a box, regardless if you're on housing or whatever, because everybody has a next step, the next level to anything. And I think I have a question. Hold on. Miss Sage, Bethany was asking, can you email her your office work number? I'll get that information to you, Bethany. We'll definitely make sure you have her information if you need to reach out to her, because Miss Sage is certified in a lot of things and has a lot of skill sets that can help a lot of people. So absolutely, I'll get that to you. So we're going to, does anybody have any more questions? Sage, did you want to add anything or ask any questions in reference to, I can't hear you.
I'll wait until after the video.
Okay. All right. So again, this is a quick video. It's not going to be long, just about, setting goals and making sure that we're just really going hard on that.
You can start from nothing. Start from nothing. You know the story. Mom was a teenage mom. Start with nothing. Grandma had 14 kids. Start with nothing. 2-bedroom house, 1 bathroom. Mom got kicked out because she had me. Start with nothing. Start with nothing. High school dropout. Start with nothing. Homeless. 12 years to get a 4-year degree from the university. Start with nothing. If you are willing to grind. I believe effort, and you've heard me say it. You might come from privilege. You might have a father that can give you everything your little heart desires, but you will not outwork me. Listen to me. I told you. I want you to think about those goals. I want you to taste them. I want you to internalize it. I'm not asking you to tell me what your goals are because I'm interested in hearing everybody. I couldn't possibly do anything with it. Listen, this is what I'm telling you. I'm telling you to dream your dream because I want you to feel it. I want you to taste it. I want you to know how close. I want you, just like when the weather is changing, you can feel it. I want you to be able to feel when you're getting closer to it and closer to it. But more importantly, I want you to know when you dream your dream that there are other people who are dreaming the exact same dream. You might be the ant, and the ant has very little, but he's determined. He's strong. He has a dream and a goal, and he'll do whatever it takes. And I need you to understand that the bigger your dream is, the earlier you're going to have to get up.
So that actually concludes my presentation. I mean, I didn't want to give you all the like HUD lingo, but I really wanted to just truthfully inspire and truthfully let you know that you can honestly do whatever you want to do. And this program is set up just for that. So you're in this program because either somebody saw something in you and wanted, recommended it, or you saw something in the program that you felt like you could get out of. So I just want to again encourage you all to, if you're in this live and you're in the FSS program, I want to be so transparent. I want to be tangible. I want you to be able to call me, email, and talk to me about certain things. It doesn't have to be every day. It can just, every 3 months, like just do a check-in. And that is just going to be help you and you helping yourself. So that is the FSS program. It is here. We are going to be revving this up in 2021. We have some great things in store. And I am just looking forward to everyone succeeding and being able to get an escrow check, gain some skills and really excel, because I know that you all have it. I've seen it. And I just know that sometimes that little push, and I always say I'm always going to be an accountability partner for people, because I do always want people to succeed. So that is it. And we're good. Let me know if you have any questions before we wrap up. Ms. Sage, did you want to add anything?
Yes. 2 things. Three things. I first want to say what a terrific job Whitney just did, because working with her as partnering with this series, I've learned quite a bit from her. And although she's young, she's a role model for even me because there's so many things that she knows that she puts together things so beautifully because she's very highly skilled in communication as well as the technology. And that is about using resources because we had a woman on who talked about budgeting and feeding a family on a budget.
Mhm.
And that woman said the way in which she was able to go from living in affordable housing to later on, she had raised her kids, 4 children there. So it's a lot of good people live there with a lot of vision and dreams for their children.
Mhm.
She said she took advantage of the resources that were afforded
Mhm.
to her. And a lot of times I can get in the rut of complaining. I have a mentor who makes me keep a complaint jar. So every time you complain, put $5, put stop, you'll see how much it's costing you. So it's about utilizing the resources and then really understanding your civic obligation. We all just had an election. I don't know. I'm not going to say or call out anybody for voting or not voting, but to be aware that in 1996, there was welfare reform legislation. That welfare reform legislation moved from aid to families in need, right? To temporary assistance to needy families. So it was aid to families with children to temporary. And so that meant that the 5 years is going to come and go. And as welfare reform legislation was written and changed, that you only really have 5 years to decide pretty much about that cash assistance. And as she said, of course, with children, you still get family Medicaid, you still get food stamps,
Mhm.
but it was the stipulation was instead of it being aid to families forever, it meant that in those 5 years, you were expected to either be preparing for work or
Mhm.
actually working. No longer with my generation. You really should look at a film called Claudine.
Mhm.
And that will tell you a lot about all of this legislation and the way it used to be and the way it is now. And so it's a privilege to work along with Whitney because I once lived in housing and knew nothing about the FSS program, and I worked the whole time I lived there. And I didn't even know anything about it until I came on board with Whitney and Avis. So taking advantage of the resources, especially now that we have went out, the American people voted, there will be a new administration. And that ties into what I'm going to say next. We're going to do in the next couple of weeks a needs assessment. Because when it comes to solving problems in the community, many times people, myself and Whitney, from outside or whomever, come in and they tell the people how to solve the problem.
Mhm.
Well, very seldom are people asked what are their solutions. So I'm going to say to the people who come here every month, please try to get the word out that we want the community to engage in solving their own problems. And so this needs assessment is to really ask you what it is that you need from us. I want to say, and the needs assessment, it'll ask questions like, what's your favorite thing about living in this particular housing development? What is the thing you like the least? And what do you think are the greatest problems? Is it unemployment? Is it mental health? Is it substance use? Or is it just people not really connecting as a community? So that we could kind of have you engage in what do you think we should offer. Our new calendar for 2020 for Boss Initiative. Boss Initiative, I was asked to come so that we could get people educated around FSS because those 5 years are going to come so quick, whether you're engaged in the program or not. And so the people who spend that 5 years just living here and maybe working, they could have developed the escrow and had assistance and accountability for achieving what they say they want to achieve. They would have had a coach, a cheerleader, or someone to keep them to the task.
Mhm.
That's a resource that's not being utilized. So our calendar was building on something. The first one we did in person and I loved it. It was Got Relationships. And I met Brandy there and she was surprised that I knew her the song that she was named after. And we could look each other in the eye, talk to one another. Bethany's little girl was there, drawing, doing vision boards with us. And that's how you build community. Leadership from the bottom up is going to become something that's going to be spoken of more than you ever heard it before. Because let's face it, leadership from the top down has proven that those people we elect are just human. Bad or good and different, whatever your opinion is, they're just human. So
Mhm.
why can't somebody like a Bethany who has a degree and has worked in the school system, or somebody like Brandy be a leader in their community? Somebody like Erica. All of these people are the people who know the rhythm and flow of their community.
Mhm.
So that's the second thing. The needs assessment will either go out through email and we might mail some. You'll probably receive it and we'll expect it back sometime in January. We'll have a deadline for it.
Mhm.
I want to just end by telling a story. I am a storyteller. One of the things I do is poetry. And I want to say that this Native American man told me a story about a little boy who had went and chased the lightning bugs. And he liked to take the lightning bugs and put them in a jar. And he would just look at how beautiful they were. He put the holes in the lid so the little bug and the bug could breathe. But every time the bug tried to get out of that jar, it would hit the top of the lid. And it just kept hitting the lid. And one day, when the little boy unscrewed the jar, the lightning bug had given up and never even tried to go that high again, so it didn't know that the lid wasn't on. Think about that when we talk about goal setting, because we're going to come back next month and we're going to ask, what are your goals? What are your dreams? What do you want for the generations that are coming after you that you weren't provided for? And so think about, sometimes we live not above our means, but beneath our means. And we get comfortable there. And no one grows a lot in the comfort zone. I'm just saying. Sometimes you got to step out of your comfort zone. You got to get honest with yourself. You got to be open minded and you got to be willing to change, because when it comes to change, we all have resistance,
Mhm.
myself included. Like she talked about losing weight. And so we have to tackle that inner resistance instead of looking at what everybody else is doing. We have to take and turn it inward. And that's all I have to share. I thank you, Whitney, for
Yeah,
speaking with me today more about family self-sufficiency.
thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and I just want to say, like, family self-sufficiency, if I'm not mistaken, actually started in early '90s. So this
Yeah.
program has been going on for a while. And I have a question from Miss Brandy. Um, she said there's an episode of Different World with Crisscross on it. It was Sue Fleas. Love that episode. I guess that they kind of maybe played on that same story that you were talking about. So it's always good to have a different reference. Thank you for sharing that. Uh,
Yes, there's the story goes with like an elephant who was tied to a post and
mhm,
he would try to pull and pull and pull, and they train him so that when they take the rope off of him, he no longer tries to get out. And
mhm,
so you have to think in terms of, instead of looking at what everybody else is doing and blame and being a victim, although we are in a season of social justice, we are in a season of our nation healing from deep embedded wounds.
mhm.
People think healing is going to be all nice and squeaky clean. No, healing can be messy. And so we have to think about our own internal healing. Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate that reference.
And we have to be willing to get uncomfortable. But I think that the FSS program is just set up to really help. That's exactly what it's here. And it's like, we're here. I'm ready to, help people and, get them connected. And again, like I said, COVID has kind of stopped some of that, but we have really, me and Sage have really been trying to work hard to try to keep this communication, at least something every month. So
And we had planned a great day in May,
Yeah.
which would have, because I'm a grassroots person. I believe in community engagement, community involvement. I was knocking on doors, introducing myself to people on Jamaica Drive, right? And then I was like, oh, COVID came, you can't do that. And I enjoyed that. Whitney went out there with me because she was like, girl, you sure you want to? Yes, Whitney. And so she said, well, okay, I think I better come with you. I was like, okay. And so I say to you that the Great Day in May would have a DJ. We would have just had a great community event. And that once that got canceled, we still kept to our calendar because of Whitney's savvy virtual skills. We were able to say, we can't meet in person,
Yeah.
but so please spread the word to others. That's what I'm
Yeah,
asking,
tell a friend, tell your neighbor. I mean, if you're in the program, tell your neighbor, like, I'm in this program, you should call Whitney, and let her talk, and definitely, because not only is it good for it's good for everybody to know. I know I sent out a ton of postcards, and so I'm sure people just toss them. I get it, but I really think it's important to just see what's out there, because you are not what you only see, and I think that sometimes it's very hard and easy to get caught up in it, what you're seeing every day.
And
Mhm.
also, I think a goal, we might pick next, for January, a book or something to read. Like I think of Mamba mentality, Kobe Bryant. And the reason I think of that is because like when you think about when he passed away, you know that there was his parents and him were not like this. Imagine how painful that is to reach success and understand that sometimes you meet people where they are, but you have to leave them there because your success changes them. How many
Mhm.
times we don't go further because we have to create new family and new cheerleaders and new support because the original design may have worked against us rather than for us. And that happens in a lot of families. And that's the kind of stuff we kind of hide, we're ashamed of or whatever. So I think of him, that Mamba mentality about really focusing your mind on what it is that you want to do and not letting anything distract you or get in your way because that's how he was. He said when people see him take a jump shot, they don't realize he practiced that over 1,000 some odd times, literally.
Yeah.
So we might have to do that for next.
We'll think about what we can.
Let me know if next month if y'all think it'd be a good idea to maybe choose one book that'll be like our one community, one book that
Yeah.
just the ones who come here, maybe we'll pick something. I know that Whitney, I mean not Whitney, but Bethany has started to read some things about African American, or I'll say BIPOC, which is the right term, Black Indigenous people of color. She
Mhm.
has started to read about that and history so that she can understand herself better. Well, maybe we might read about goals or people who have success stories, but they were told you have dyslexia. You have dyslexia, you'll never be able to do such and such. And
Mhm.
because those stories are about people who failed several times before they realized that was a stepping stone to their ultimate success.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you for that. The book club is good. I think that we talk about some yoga, going in the park, when the world opened back up. So I think it's gonna be some good things, and that's just really just connecting. Again, we are gonna do the Great Day in May this May, Lord willing. That's the plan. And I just want to note that I just want to say thank you to Miss Spencer and Miss Ely for attending, and I want to highlight that Brandy mentioned that she moved into housing in 2016, and she didn't know about FSS until I came. So she's very thankful for that. So I'm grateful for that. And it's crazy. She was in the program, but that's why I say, like, if people were in it, not sure what's going on, but I know that I'm kind of in your face. But I'm glad that you're grateful, for me being able to talk to you and at least get some of this information out. So you have a happy Thanksgiving too, Miss Brandy.
We're going to keep reaching out, but try to spread the word amongst other people in your community who you think are working and don't realize you're not saving any money. So somebody would be actually saving money for you. That's what it would be. And your goals you choose. We don't dictate your goals. You're already working, right? and then you agree to, I could just live with my family having Medicaid and food stamps. All the people at Walmart, they are eligible for what, Whitney?
For
They're eligible for Medicaid.
yeah,
Yeah, that corporation doesn't pay their health insurance, so you don't lose certain things that are really valuable to your family.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
So
if you want to go to Disney when you cash out, or you want to buy a car,
yeah,
you know all of those things that she said is really up to you. So spread the word. And I just want to say, we did build, if you notice, in Boss Initiative, you had got technology, got health, got plans, got a job. We made sure the workshop. So when we send out the needs assessment, I'll have one line for what you want to learn. What are the things you want to learn?
okay. I
Thank
love
you, Whitney. I'm
that.
sorry.
No, you're good. Okay, so this is where we're gonna wrap things up. We don't hold you too much. This is where we just ask the question to see who was listening and about basically the presentation that I just gave. So let me think of a good question. Um, I want someone to tell me at least three things that are required for the FSS program at LHA. Just three things in terms of the what's required in the program.
You said three things?
Mm-hmm.
Two.
Two? You said two?
Which one? Two or three?
Three. Three.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. What are you required to do when it comes to the FSS program at LHA? Let me give you some time. Play the Jeopardy theme song. Okay, I have an answer. Let's see. Um, okay, so I'm gonna give the responses that I got. So Miss Bethany said no TANF, attend workshops and work 24 hours minimum. Brandy said job finish school if that's a goal and meet with me and have a bank account and start saving money. So in terms of the requirements when it comes to LHA, actually Bethany is correct. So it is to no TANF. You need to attend workshops and actively participate and have a minimum of 25 hours. And Ms. Spencer, your answer, what you're saying is right, is more so that's very just specific to a goal, but because it's not a requirement to have a bank account. Because if that's not a goal for someone, that's not a requirement. But at LHA, it is a requirement to know 10 of the 10 workshops, which is required unless you're working, and we'll talk about that when later, and at least 25 hours a week. So Ms. Anthony,
Bethany's a school teacher. We have to be mindful that
I
she's a
know.
good note taker, and she,
Notes and be like, okay, yeah. So
and she,
congratulations, Bethany. I will connect with you tomorrow on that since I'm working from home today. So, if does anybody have any questions? Anything? If not, we can definitely wrap up. I'll be sure to
just know I did put my
that out there too.
number as well as the email address in that. I prefer you text me if you want,
Yeah,
since I work off site.
yeah. I'll definitely send that information out to Bethany since she did specifically ask for it.
Yeah, and I have her email.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, ladies, I am so excited that we've been able to at least say what SS is, what's this, what Whitney be talking about. This is what I be talking about all the time is all the wonderful things that this program has to offer. So we will be seeing you all next month. It's gonna be kind of light, like I said. We just gonna talk about some more goals, and I want you to, in this time before we meet, think about goals, and not don't think about what you already have on your FSS contract. Think about just other things that you can think of, and because we want to go into 2021 with a clear mind, clear space, and attracting those things that we say that we want. So I'm gonna wrap up, and thank you all for attending. Have a wonderful afternoon.
And have a great Thanksgiving as
Yes,
best you can. Stay safe,
stay safe.
and we'll see you in December.
All right, take care. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.